Hey, what is up guys? So I got something pretty interesting to share with you guys. It is an anti-meta deck, but it's going to be real fast, so I'm going to go ahead and explain the basic concepts of the deck. So anyways, it's using Ties of the Brethren. So you pay 2,000 life points, you target one level 4 lower monster you control, special summon from your deck 2 monsters with the same attribute, level, and type as that monster, but with different names from each other and that monster. You also cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, and you can't conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. So it's pretty much just like a lockdown for most decks. Like, yeah, I guess there's some decks that can deal with it, but for the most part, this is game over, and you guys are going to see most players will quit at this point, but that's the point of the deck. Is it's an anti-meta, shutdown, lockdown kind of deck. And it's really rare to see some of these decks nowadays because, you know, meta is so irrelevant. But anyways, so the cards that you're going to be bringing out, Thunder King is a great card that you can use Ties of the Brethren with. But you don't actually need Thunder King. The 2 cards that you bring out are Lightning Rod Lord as well as Electrifying Mustagun. So the first card's effect over here, Lightning Rod Lord, is that neither player can activate spell card during main phase 1. And then the other card's effect is that it cannot be normal summon or set, cannot be special summoned except by a card effect during your main phase 1 of a turn in which you did not special summon a monster. Twice per turn, this card can't be destroyed by battle. Each of the turn player can only conduct their special summon or special summons of a monster up to the number of times that they attack that turn. So pretty much that means no. So at this point, your opponent can't search, they can't activate spell cards during main phase 1. And there are some cards we have to activate during the start of your main phase 1, but the more important card actually is Electrifying Mustagun. Obviously Thunder King does quite help out a lot because it's Thunder King, you know, but you'll see the opponents just quit against this deck because you can't really exactly do very much against, you know, deck that says, oh, you didn't conduct your battle phase and therefore you can't special summon, so you're not going to be able to attack, therefore you lose. That's just kind of, again, the way the deck works. There's 2 quick little replays that I can share with you guys. Then I'll give you guys the deck profile, because that's pretty much what I assume you guys want anyways. So, yeah, anyways, Denko Saka summon. So, Denko Saka is also another great target. I'm thinking if you can get a face-up anti-spell fragrance also, that would be really good as well. And then, obviously, you can summon Denko, and therefore your opponent not being able to activate spell card during main phase 1 can help out quite a bit because then they have to set them and they cannot set stuff anyways, so that can be another lockdown. Again, the main cards that you're going to be bringing out are Lightning Rod Lord as well as Electrifying Mustagun, so that's the combo right here. And then on top of that, since they're all light, you have Honest too, and at that point, okay, you guys can understand. The guy probably was like, oh, it's fine, Summoner Monk. Oh wait, I can't special summon, so pretty cool to kind of see anti-meta kind of alive. I wouldn't say it's like tier 1, so to speak, but it is kind of viable, and I know a lot of you guys just want the deck profile. You want to try something else new, and it is using that new card, Left Arm Offering, because it's pretty important. But anyways, let's go and jump right into the deck profile, then you guys can kind of talk a little bit about it amongst yourselves, and I'll kind of make some comments along it. But yeah, like I said, it's an anti-meta-ish deck. We haven't seen an anti-meta in like so long in Yu-Gi-Oh! But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with that young deck profile. So first off, we got the 1 Thunder King, 3 copies of Lightning Rod Lord, 3 copies of Denko Seka, 3 copies of Electrifying Mustagun, 3 copies of Thunder Seahorse, so you get to add 2 level 4 light type Thunder monsters with 1600 or less attack from your deck to your hand, so it searches out your extra stuff. And then you have 2 copies of Honest, then you have 2 copies of Floating Ghost and Cherry Blossom. So during either player's turn, you get to, well, as long as your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can discard this card, reveal 1 card from your extra deck, then look at your opponent's extra deck, and if they have cards with the same name as that revealed card, banish all cards with that name from their extra deck. You can only use it once per turn. So, like, getting rid of all of your opponent's, you know, Phantom Knights of Breaksword, Dante's, use any key card. Certain things can loop with Ancient Fairy, so that's there. Certain things can loop with Omega, so kind of nice just to have, you know, access to getting rid of, like, certain decks. Like, Burning Abyss doesn't function too well without Dante, as you guys know. And on top of that, like, a lot of builds don't run the Virgil, so that can be a thing. Next up, there's Regeki, and then 3 copies of Ties of the Brethren, which basically makes this deck. And then 2 copies of Dark Hole, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Upstart Goblin, and then 3 copies of Left Arm Offering. So basically, the concept is open up with 1 Thunder monster, activate Left Arm Offering or Ties of the Brethren. If you don't have it, you have to get rid of all your cards, but it is worth it because the win condition that this essentially brings you, because if you just get out these cards, like, basically it's your opponent cannot special summon, and then they can't activate potentially spells or traps. Obviously this makes it so they can't use spells during main phase 1, and then this makes it so they can't set anything. So again, it's a lockdown, but it's not a perfect lockdown. It's a lockdown on a certain mechanics out of the game, but it's not like the perfect lockdown, which means your opponent cannot even function and play. But nonetheless, next up we have 2 copies of Cosmic Cycle. So you pay 1,000 life points and you can target a spell or trap card and banish it. So really good against things like Breakthrough Skill, which get extra utility out of the graveyard. So I mean, even though that card isn't meta, there's going to be probably more like spell and trap cards that get effect or utility out of the graveyard anyways. Then we have 1 copy of Twin Twister, then 3 copies of Terminal World. So you can only activate it during main phase 1 while this card's on the field. Both players skip their main phase 2. So this can actually open up potentially a more perfect lockdown, because you can use this in combination with Lightning Rod Lord. So therefore there is no main phase 1 spells and no main phase 2 spells, because there is no main phase 2. So you can tactically lock down your opponent even higher. I know those replays were really quick, but again, it's going to be the same concept. Whether he activated Terminal World and summoned it or not, the replay outcome was going to be the same. The opponent would have just been like, I'm done, I quit. And then we have 3 copies of Semi-Spell Zone. So you activate this card during the start of your main phase 1 or 2. During each player's main phase 1, monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by their controller's opponent's card effects. You cannot activate or set field spell cards, but that's irrelevant anyways. Then we have that 1 Vanities and then 2 copies of Solemn Strike. As far as the extra deck goes, because you're playing Floating Ghost and Cherry Blossom, I suggest at least running these 2 in your extra deck, because these are the most relevant ones that you can shut down your opponent with. But if you happen to match against certain decks that you know you play against quite often, then change up the extra deck. But he just kind of just threw things that I think are okay. I mean, obviously having access to getting rid of even if Utopia, because your opponent can't respond to things, it can be nice. But I think the more important ones are probably going to be let's move Cassell over here. I think these are the more important ones to actually get rid of, because you don't want your opponent getting rid of your Terminal World or bouncing back any of the cards, but they more than likely won't be able to special summon anyways. So that's Lockdown. Thanks for sending in that replay along with the deck profile. But let me know your guys' thoughts on it if you guys have any suggestions for changes. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you guys give that like button a titty slap, and I'm signing out.